It is Monday, November 15th. This is H&J Talk Sports. We had a losing week. We have a lot to talk about. Yeah, let's start the show.
Here we go.
The Steelers will never be last in the league in running again.
It's a good time to get hot.
Holy crap, guys. That's pretty cool.
And a Rabu.
Najee Harris, running back, first round. I think the Steelers will target him. Welcome back, everybody. It's your new favorite podcast where we talk Steelers, West Virginia, Penguins, all the teams that can't seem to win a game, and your favorite teams. This is more like a your favorite team support group because we're always losing here. I'm Joe. That's Harry. Harry, what's going on, man?
What's up, man? Season rolls on.
Season rolls on.
It's been rough.
On H&J's support group, more losses.
More losses. Well, Steelers didn't lose. It feels like a loss.
It's a loss. How do they even count? How do they count ties in football? Is it half a point?
You don't get points in football. It's just win and loss.
It's win and loss percentage.
Yeah, it's better than a loss. But
I'm more of a hockey guy, by the way, if you don't know. I thought you got points, but I guess it's win percentage.
It's a game.
Yeah.
It's a game we needed to win with Ben or without Ben.
Yeah.
It's the worst team in the league. So there we go.
We'll get into that. Let's start with West Virginia because this train's been going down. We lost to Kansas State. It wasn't even a good game, I would say. 34-17. It was pretty much like the Oklahoma State game. I never felt like we were in this game.
Yeah.
From the opening drive, it just didn't go well. Daggy not getting set, not finding coverage. I mean, what are you going to do? But at the same time, like, really?
I mean, they battled back a little bit, but it didn't. They never really.
Too little, too late.
They didn't do much.
If we're looking for bright spots, Kalen Prather, who's a young wide receiver who hasn't got much use, he was used a lot that game, and he did a good job. So that's like positive for next season. But for this year, it's toast. And there's two camps on this. We've talked about them both. And no matter what we say, we get blown up from either side of the Neal Brown fans or haters. So if we say anything positive about Neal Brown, our comments are just loaded with how terrible Neal Brown is. If we say anything negative, it's trust the climb in every comment. So we can't win. I'm over him though, I think, Harry.
I mean, the fan base is split.
It's literally 50-50. No matter what, I see everyone arguing down the middle.
I've been critical of him, but I'm more in line of I think you got to see. He's going to be here next year. You got to see what happens.
I still think, again, like we've said every show, guys, it's in West Virginia in our best interest for him to succeed. Because if you got to get a new coach, you're basically starting your rebuild over again, and then it's another 4 years.
I don't think we're at that point. I think, it's a disappointment. I don't think you can expect this season as being good.
For me, though, it's kind of a worry, too, the things I see. Like, I don't see in him that he looks like a coach for this level of football.
Well,
I don't have
my judgment there yet.
It's his personalities and qualities on the field that make me think everyone has the argument, it's only year 3. It takes time to rebuild. The cupboard was bare. You hear all these things. I understand all that. But the things I do see from him are qualities that I don't think no matter who you have on the field, it's going to translate to win. He just doesn't seem like the guy for this level.
The answer will come. I'm still in the boat of let's see what happens next year.
Mm-hmm.
We'll make a judgment from there. Does the seat get warm? Does it put more pressure on him? Yes, I think you have another terrible year next year, then
Yeah.
I
But,
don't know if you can.
next year, the Neal Brown guys, you're going to hear the excuse, well, his recruits are freshmen. You got to let them develop. But, guys, we got to
True.
start winning sometime. We can't keep winning 4 games every year here.
I mean, that's true, but you got to look at the team and you got to see if there's an improvement.
Yeah.
This season there was no improvement
No,
from
it
last year.
was-
Last year we didn't do that great, but it looked like the team had been a little better. The team had got some
Yeah.
good wins.
And that's
They
why we
won all the
felt
home
positive
games.
this year, because last year it seemed like was an improvement. We expected that this year, but it was a sideways move, if that.
This year we had good moments. We beat Iowa State. We beat
Yeah.
Virginia Tech. Then we had, the Oklahoma State game, the Baylor game, the Kansas State game. We played terrible. You had the Oklahoma game, which
Could have changed the
was
season.
good, but not good. And then you had the Texas Tech game, which was terrible. And who knows? Like, Big 12 is not as good as it has been.
Yeah, this is
Conference as
definitely
a
a more
whole.
even year. Everyone, Texas,
Oklahoma just lost. Texas just lost.
to Kansas.
I mean, good and bad.
Kansas
Good
put up
is
what, 61 or 56 points or something?
it was like 58 to 56,
It was a
something like
lot.
that. Something,
Yeah.
654,
Texas
something.
battled back and made it close, but
Those are your next 2 games. So yeah, Texas looks even worse.
Kansas looks
Kansas
better.
looks a little better, and you have to win one of those 2 to get to a bowl, or both of them.
You got to win both of them now.
You got to win both of them.
Yeah.
So
And some of it's on us too. Looking back, did we overestimate this season?
for sure.
Probably. But at the same time, when you're the head coach at this level, I think it's your job to recognize your team and temper your fans' expectations. Right?
I
Because you're
mean,
like at a college level, you're the face of the team. In the NFL, you got your head quarterback, you got your star running backs. In college, it's you. You're the face of your organization. So you have to tamper your fan base. If all we hear the offseason and how Jarrett Dagey is the most improved player and he's great this year, and then you see the recruiting and you hear all this great stuff, it's going to hype us up. And then you come and you see the same Jarrett Dagey we've seen every year. He's been a quarterback. That's kind of on you.
yeah.
If the coaching narrative in the offseason is, we're building, we feel good about our program, trust the climb is the hashtag. We're putting some things together. It's going to be a struggle, but we're making progress. Maybe we don't overhype the season and we're not feeling as down right now.
But everybody does that. Every coach does that before the season. You don't go into the season saying this is going to be.
Well,
A coach
lose.
A coach doesn't. Even Kansas every year they go into the season thinking that there's an improvement.
He hyped a lot though. I think if you go into this season as him and you say, we're working, we're getting better, trust the climb, we got recruits coming in, we're battling. Maybe I don't feel as bad. Maybe we don't predict a 9-8 or 9-4 season, whatever we did.
We might have been a little biased.
We were a little biased.
There was a lot of hope.
Was the hype. All I heard was how great Jarrett Dagey was. It was the same as last year.
Yeah, most of my hype was built on having a better team than last year.
Yeah.
Improving in the weak spots. But in the end, those transfers and just the team just wasn't there. No. QB play has been terrible. The defense, I don't think, has been as good.
So speaking of QB play, because the future is bright, hopefully. Our savior, Nicco Marchiol's coming, guys. We just got to wait a little bit longer. Get through these last few games here, and then it's the countdown. Our man, Nicco Marchiol, 4-star recruit. I say 4-star lightly because I think he's more in 5-star territory. He went 10-0 on his season this year, Harry. 10-0. We already talked about in another video. You can go watch it about that huge game against Bishop Gorman. They were the top 5 team in the country at the time. He came back. It was the best comeback I've seen at any level of football. Scored I don't know what it was now, 20 points in the last 2 minutes of the game. Won that game. Last week in their last win of the season, he beat the team that was I think they were on a 45-game win streak. They beat them to finish the season 10-0. He's broken the single season touchdown pass record at his high school. He's completed 157 something passes. He's got 2,000 yards, 242 yards per game, 32 touchdown passes, and only 1 interception. Apparently, he's in the talk to be the high school player of the year. And he's just beasting out. And this is what we need. This guy's a battler. He brought his team from, when they played Bishop Gorman, who was the 15th team in the country. They weren't ranked. They weren't considered to be in the top. Now they're the number 10 team. And I think that was before they beat the number 11th ranked team last week. So that's exciting.
It's the bright spot on the program.
It's the bright spot. That's the one thing that's getting me through this season, the hope. As West Virginia fans, all we have is hope. It seems like every year.
Neal Brown will live or die with that class.
He will. I mean,
if that class ends up being a failure and people transferring away and we stay at a mediocre level, that will be it. He won't make it through.
And that's the thing I worry about. Now, a lot of people, have commented on our other Nicco videos and said, if he doesn't transfer him, but I don't think he's transferring. That man at the end of his game the other night, Harry, I have to send you the clip. He sung Country Roads after they won. So he seems committed to me. He's been recruiting for us. He's probably been recruiting his class better than our recruits at West Virginia. I think he's coming. What's going to happen in the transfer portal this offseason, though, I can't say. That's what worries me more than the recruits. I feel like the recruits are bought in. I feel like they're amped to come. But, boy, the transfer portal might destroy us this offseason.
We'll see how things shake out the next year or two.
And I'm going to say something, too, a little prediction. I think Garrett Green's about to hit the transfer portal.
Wow. That's not a big deal.
No, but it's just interesting. He didn't travel with the team this week. That's happened 2 or 3 other times this season when a player didn't travel. Neal Brown said there was injured or other reasons, and then the next week they were in the transfer portal. So I wouldn't be surprised if he hits it. I said, I think last episode or 2 episodes ago, he probably will, because with Nicco coming, it's a very crowded quarterback room next year, but he might be gone after this week, guys. Stay tuned next week. We might have a guest on the show to talk about West Virginia and Neal Brown a little bit more. So tune in for that. Subscribe if you haven't already. Come back. We'll keep you updated. For now, I guess, as Harry said at the top of the show, it wasn't a loss. It felt like a loss. Steelers versus the Lions.
Well,
was that not a loss? I don't know. I don't know how you go 16 to 16 tie with the Lions and don't feel like it's a loss, especially when you have an opportunity to get in first place.
Well, it keeps up. The Browns got destroyed today by the Pats. The Ravens lost to the Dolphins, and we tied the Lions. So, all in all, we're still what?
Are we in first
half
place?
a game or tie away from first place?
Yeah.
You're still in it. The schedule gets tougher, but you're still in it.
Yeah. We didn't talk about Chicago. We did win that game, but even that game was like, what's going on with this team? But they won it. But then this Lions game, Ben was out because of COVID. So Mason Rudolph came in. And I know that Rudolph, I've already seen some of it online. He's going to catch the brunt of the criticism for this loss. But to me, and I'm not a Mason Rudolph fan, you can check my resume on that one. I've done nothing but talk about how I don't think he's a guy for anything. He did everything you want your backup to do today. I felt like he had a good game. He came in and he did exactly what you want your backup to do. What lost the Steelers the game, despite, a bad fumble, despite, our defense making the Lions look like it was Derrick Henry and the Titans running down the field, was the play calling. I don't think Matt Canada is any good. That's another thing that was hyped up to us in the offseason about how Matt Canada is this originator and all these NFL teams have adapted and are using this offensive style that he was the originator of. Maybe, but they're doing it better than him.
No, there were a lot of mistakes. It was everywhere. In overtime, you had 2 crucial fumbles.
Yeah, the fumbles, they cost us, but you should never get there. And there's 2 plays in this game that I think changed the game. I think it was the second drive of the game because we scored on the first drive. We're down, I think, on like the 3 or the 5. It's 4th down, and Tomlin decided to take the points and kick it. I thought that was a terrible decision because at the time, early in the game, we were running through them on every play. I felt like Najee could have ran that in easily, and you got to be more aggressive there against the Lions. That could have put you up by 7. The next play of the game, same thing. We're in the red zone. It's later in the game. I can't remember if it was late, probably third quarter. And for some reason, once we hit the red zone, they called 3 passing plays. You're in the 5-yard line. All you talk about is how you're a run team. You got to get back to the run. Najee's been running through. It's not like he's been stumped. He's been having a solid game. And you call 3 passing plays in the red zone.
Yeah.
If you call 1 running play there or 2, that's a touchdown. And then you're up by 7 again. And this game never goes to overtime. Those 2 plays to me changed this whole game. And it's bad play calling. Why do you call pass plays in the red zone?
I don't.
Harry, explain it to me like I'm 7.
I don't know. I mean, it's easy to say after the fact, but maybe a bunch of people in the box, they didn't like the look.
It was
something going on.
But he does it the plays are questionable every game. And here's the thing too. Now, a lot of people have blamed the catch on this or a bad throw because on that 3rd down, he did have, I think it was McLeod wide open. Mason underthrew the ball. It could have been a touchdown. But at the same time, it's raining. The ball's wet. People have been dropping the ball all game. Run the ball there. You're in the red zone.
Yeah.
We haven't been struggling at that point. He's been running the ball all game. He's averaging 4 yards a run per game.
It's just a terrible game. All you can do is just move on to the next week. Everybody played terrible. The Lions played terrible. We should have lost that game.
It was
could have won the game
on both sides. But Matt Canada, I don't know. I don't think he's the guy. I don't like his play calling. I don't understand it. It's like Randy Fitchner 2.0 to me. He just runs some more motions and jet sweeps than Randy did, but it's essentially the same exact offense.
I don't know.
And every time he impresses me a little at the beginning in the first quarter, I'm like, okay, all right, there we go. And then he reverts, and then the fourth quarter is terrible. I guess it's him. I don't know if it's Tomlin. I don't think it's Tomlin making the decisions. So
I blame the players.
They didn't. I mean, the whole team didn't look good. There was no excuse for the defense making the Lions running backs look like Derrick Henry. Like, our secondary is one thing. How could we not stop that run game?
It was a struggle. You would think we should.
It was before TJ got hurt too, guys, so we can't blame that.
No.
They couldn't stop the run game. We couldn't get a sack.
We just don't look like a good team right now.
I don't think we are a good team. I think that's hard to accept, but I don't think we are.
We haven't for a while. We haven't looked like a good team all season, other than week 1. And after that, it's just been, we got sent back to earth. And
yeah.
Looking like that. We're struggling. We're surviving. I've had a weak schedule. They played the Packers tough for a half.
Yeah.
A little more than
play calling looked atrocious in that game.
But really, I mean, you played a Bears team, which was terrible and didn't look good. You played a Seattle team, which was depleted and didn't look good. Now you played the Lions and you didn't look good again, and it finally caught up to you.
This might have been the worst looking game of the season.
Well, we'd gotten lucky in the other games. This time we didn't get lucky.
Yeah. And you know what? If you have been, maybe he makes one of those last minute drives and wins the game. Maybe he makes one of those drives in overtime. He probably does, but
still, we should have won that game.
Yeah, Mason's your backup quarterback. I mean, he did what he's got any backup would do. You can't expect your backup to come in, whether it's Mason, whether it's anybody in the league, and win the game on a last minute drive. If they were that type of player, they wouldn't be a backup quarterback, in my opinion.
He made plays. He gave us a chance.
He did good. He did good early. I thought he was solid, and I don't
other
like
guys. Other guys dropped the ball.
Yeah, there was a lot of drops. It was a rainy game. Both
literally
teams terrible. Literally. Drop the ball, literally. So any hope next week? We got the Chargers. Chargers haven't looked Sunday night game too. That's nice. Chargers haven't looked great lately. They started the season and I feel like they were one of the best teams in the league, and then they just fell off.
Anybody can beat anybody right now in the AFC. It's week to week. We haven't looked good. If I had to guess, I would say no. But I don't know. I don't think it's as definitive. I think we could win.
Ben probably comes back next week. I don't know if again he's in COVID protocol. I think he does have symptoms. So it's not.
He tested positive.
Yeah, he tested positive, but it's not like no symptoms. He does have symptoms because they said he actually came to the team and said, "Hey, I'm having some symptoms. I should probably get a test." So I don't know how bad he's going to get it. If it's mild, I guess that'll depend if he's back next week or not. To keep some news on TJ, see if he's going to be out long term. I guess one positive thing is when he got hurt, he stayed on the sidelines. He didn't get carted off or go in the back, so it's probably not ACL or anything too bad. I think Najee's been banged up too. I feel like Najee, he didn't practice some this week. I feel like they would have ran him more in the game, but his foot, I think, is hurt. With that, he still had a beastly game. So I don't know. Steelers, Chargers. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. Maybe. How do you feel moving forward? And then after that is when the real playoff battle starts right here, because you got the Bengals, the Ravens, and the Browns. So you got your AFC North gauntlet to see who gets into the playoffs. And mixed in with that, you got the Titans who are having a great season.
Yeah, it'll be tough.
Yeah,
finish out the season, but we're in it. We're right in it.
We're in it. And these next two games could decide, because you got the Bengals and the Ravens. The team that loses these games is probably the team that's not making the playoffs.
We're going to play it out. Yeah. Who knows if we can get it together and get streaky in the end, it could be special, but that's my only hope. With how we've looked, I'm just happy that we're in the mix.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like any team in the AFC North looks clearly better. I think we all look bad.
No, the Browns got blown out by New England, who's average.
Yeah, weeks.
Mac Jones maybe had his best game he's had so far, but they're still average. The Bengals have been on a losing trend. I think
it's going to come down. We'll see. Yeah. Hopefully it stays close and we can stay within reach and maybe pull something off.
The story of our lives.
Yeah, the AFC looks bad.
They do. We went from the best division in football to what is going on in this division. Speaking of struggling, boy, across the board, we love to struggle. I think if I wasn't a sports fan, boy, I'd probably have normal blood pressure and just be a happier person. But here we are. The Penguins have been struggling a lot. We are recording this on Sunday night, by the way, guys. So I don't know what happened in the Washington game. I'm actually about to go watch it here when we wrap this up. But Saturday night, they lost to Ottawa 6-3. They looked terrible in that game. I think it was like 5-1 or 5-0, and then they scored all their goals at the end. Terrible. They've been depleted, but against Washington tonight, we get Crosby back. I think Pettersson, pretty much all our COVID players are coming back. So we get a big boost here. Like 5 players are coming back tonight. So that should help. I don't know what the score is now. I think it's 0-0 still. Again, we do this Sunday, so I don't know. Let's wrap this up so I can go watch it, though. God dang.
You can find out on the Hockey Talk that's coming one Friday. One Friday there will be a Hockey Talk.
And I've been busy lately.
And maybe this is the week that there will be a Hockey Talk. If not, next week.
If I'm being honest with you, it's probably not this week. I got a lot to do this week. I don't foresee it. If I can squeeze it in, next week for sure. For sure.
One day
we
will have
Hockey Talk will be back one day, and we'll talk that hockey. But Crosby back, so that's a good sign. It's nothing right now. I'm about to go watch this game, and hopefully Crosby can give not just Crosby, but everyone that's been out, inject some life into this lineup, because this lineup, it's been ugly. They've been struggling scoring. They got the number one penalty kill in the league, though. I think they've only allowed like 2 penalty kill or power play goals all year, so that's good defensively, right?
I'm going to say what I always say. It's early.
It's early. It's always early in hockey, Harry. There's 82 games.
I know.
Or 84.
It's hard to say. I just feel like when you have these long seasons, it's hard to judge because so much changes. I feel like always the team that's hot in the beginning, most of the time finishes bad. And it's all about getting hot at the end of the season. Same way with football.
That's why I could never be a baseball fan.
Yeah.
They play like 120 games a season or something stupid like that.
Well, you just have the season's so long, and I think you have really dramatic changes in hockey.
It's hard to be a hockey fan sometimes.
The season started, the Penguins look good. They look great. I mean, you could have a team look like the best team in the league. Depends last year. I mean, we finished first, but by the end of the season, I mean, in just a matter of a couple months, the team dramatically changed. It's hard to tell. It's all about just staying in contention and possibly you get it.
Well, that's the trouble. That's what you're trying to do now. You're trying to get in contention because now you're not in the playoffs and you're back a little bit. I mean, you're 1 win back, 2 wins back, but you got all these teams in the same kind of spot right now. So even if you're struggling, you'd still like to be inside looking out at this point, I think. Because it is early, but at the same time, we're almost in December. So we're about a month and a couple weeks away from the halfway point here. I guess the positive is at that point, you have the Olympic break, so guys can rest. And Malkin should be coming back around that time, so that's positive. So hopefully with all that happening, with the rest, with Malkin, it gives everyone a boost for the end of the season.
I hope.
Real quick before we wrap this up, though, I do have something I want to say about hockey. I was thinking about something the other day, and it kind of made me sad, Harry.
What's that?
For the past over 30 years, my entire life, the Penguins have always had the best player in the league. Isn't that crazy? And I've been thinking with Crosby and Malkin out all this time with injury, the Crosby-Malkin era is almost over.
It is.
And for the first time in my life, unless the Penguins get really lucky with the draft again, if they do, I think a lot of people are going to start calling something fixed. But, it's the first time in my lifetime and a lot of our lifetimes that they don't have the best player in the league. I mean, since the 80s, you had Marchiol, who's maybe the best player of all time. And then you had Jágr, who dominated the 90s. And then you had Crosby and Malkin. For my entire life, not only have you had the best player in the league, you've almost had the 2 best players in the league.
Yeah, I mean, they've been fortunate. It happens like that sometimes. Look at the Colts. They had Manning and they got Andrew Luck. It didn't work out the way they wanted, but still sometimes.
It's just crazy because after this, and, we had a few years in the early 2000s. I think there was a layover before Crosby got here where you didn't have Mario and Jágr.
But yeah, I mean, they did bad. That's how they got those top picks.
That's how they got Crosby.
Malkin and Crosby.
Yeah, Mario did play a couple of those years, but the whole team was just bad. But yeah, I mean, 30 years and then, in a couple of years it's going to be over. And it's going to be really weird not having one of the best players in the NHL on your team.
Well, maybe Penguin tough fans, sledding for a little bit.
It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. We might never have the best player. I mean, there's 32 teams. A lot of these players never had the best player. Mainly because he's usually playing for Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So just something to think about, guys. Something to think about. I don't know why I'm getting depressing because we still got a few years, but man. Let us know what you think. There's a hockey. Oh, there's Crosby right there. Watch this. Look at that backhand. Oh my God, that was nasty. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe. If you're not subscribed yet, this is H&J Talk Sports, your new favorite podcast and therapy for the Steelers, West Virginia, and the Penguins right now, unfortunately. Hopefully we can get it going here in the next few weeks. Hopefully the Steelers can get their offense together and the Penguins can take Crosby and some of these players and get rolling and look exciting for a little bit.
Yep. Don't worry, football season's coming to an end soon.
And then we'll be depressed again and talk about we can't wait for football.
2 more college games. NFL still got a while. We still got some hope.
Yeah.
I got to get it turned around soon.
Yeah, like I said, the AFC North Gauntlet's coming up here with the Ravens twice, the Browns and the Bengals. So it's all or nothing now, baby.
Cool.
If you got comments for us, you drop it down below. Ask HJ. Give us comments of things you want to see on the show. If you're not subscribed, you should subscribe because of our analytics. I can see a lot of you guys are returning viewers and you keep coming back and watching everything, but you're not subscribed. Why don't you just hit the subscribe button? It's so much easier because then you don't got to remember the videos just pop up and say, hey, H&J Talk Sports got a new video out. So do that. Also, if you're listening on Spotify or listening format, make sure to follow us. If you're on Spotify, you can go comment questions and give us questions you want us to answer on the show. Stay tuned next week where we may have a special guest. We may not. Who knows? We'll find out.
See you next week.
See you next week.